Okay, so today was a loss, and the trade setup quality was fine. It just happened to be one of those days where the trade just did not work out. So, going into today, I had three price scenarios, and for whatever reason my thinkorswim is not allowing me to log in right now. But the first scenario was if price successfully holds the 68.54 to 68.41 level, I want to look for longs targeting 68.86, passive seller first, and then 6900. Second scenario was if price begins to auction below 68.41 with no responsive buyers, I will then look for shorts to play towards 68.19 first, then 67.92. If none of these scenarios occur, then I will stay cash and will not trade in between these two key levels here and here. So in reality, what ended up happening is none of those three scenarios played out as well. They did play out, but I wasn't able to capitalize on scenario 2, which is what played out. Price at the open pretty much, where is the opening price? I guess it's 14.30. So at the open we sold off and pretty much broke through the 41s, which was right here. This was a key area of buying support, and let me actually expand this. There's a way to do that. Maybe not. I guess I'll just put a demand zone right here, just to make it clear. So my scenario 2 is that I wanted to get short after we had broken the 41s, which was right here. But unfortunately, I was not able to get confirmation to get in short, but that short did end up hitting this 68.19 demand zone, which was this price scenario right here, right? And so instead, I took a long trade. After we had hit that demand zone, we started to bounce from that demand zone. I didn't necessarily want to get in right at that demand zone because that would kind of be trying to catch a falling knife, because the drop prior had been pretty aggressive. So instead, I waited for price to sort of bounce from here, find buyers, consolidate here. And what was interesting on the heat map, I don't know why it dims the brightness down like this. There we go. So 68.19 was right here. It's not marked, but this is the demand zone. And then on the way down, before we hit the demand zone, there was a 1200 lot right there. And after we had hit the demand zone, we come up and there was 1100 lot that hit the market over there. You know, if we zoom into that time frame, this is a screenshot, so I can't zoom in, but if we zoom in, you can clearly see that price was holding. So I had number 1, this aggressive delta outlier. Number 2, we hit the demand zone, we bounced from the demand zone, and number 3, we were holding that level. So I figured, why not put risk right here, my stop loss was not the best. I entered in long at the 68.31s, targeting the 41s, which was the key level in the pre-market plan. And that actually did hit eventually, but not before it stopped me out at the 27s. 27s was not necessarily the best stop loss because it didn't really invalidate my trade, but I had to keep it at the 68.27 because it was just too much risk for me to put on. So I risked about 4.5 points to make around 11 points, 11, 12 points. I probably would have sold on a break of the 41, so I probably would have sold at like maybe the 45s. And so, yeah, I mean, risking 4.5 points for about 13, 14, 15 points, not a bad RR at all. And then here was the visual. I don't know why it dims. There we go. So market open, we sold off, we hit the 2 hour 68.19 demand, and I entered somewhere around here, and then I got stopped out. And eventually, after I got stopped out, price revisited kind of this area of demand right here, formed a little market structure demand, which is what the playbook I was going off of today. Of course, I was a little bit early, but we formed this market structure demand, and right here would have actually been a great re-entry. But I did not enter there. I didn't see anything there. And then we eventually rallied up to the 68.41 target and sold off from there. But that was the trade recap for November the 13th.